Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. So today I am contemplating choice. And I think this is something that I probably have had a fairly unpleasant relationship with, in terms of believing that I was making terrible choices for all sorts of different aspects of my life. I think my first awareness around it will be food, because that was my thing for a long time, my relationship with food, how I would be on a diet of some description and then I would make a wrong choice and eat something that was not permitted. Or perhaps a quantity of something was not permitted on the said diet. And that was something that I did a lot for a long time, really, and spent a lot of time beating myself up about it, endlessly, actually, to a point of it being pretty unhealthy. Then I guess alongside that will have been exercise. Do I or don't I? Choosing to do exercise or not. And then I think kind of in the more recent years, this idea that there is a choosing self, choosing whether or not. I've got a list of things next to me on the desk. Will I do them today or won't I? That is the question. Will I be choosing to do them or not? I don't know, really. I see this really, really differently to how I used to, because, let's just think about choice and the process by which it happens. So first of all, there is some options, or there are some options. So option one might be eat the chocolate, and option two would be not to eat the chocolate. Let's keep it simple. We could eat the chocolate this morning or this afternoon or this evening, but we're just going to keep it really simple now. I can eat the chocolate or not eat the chocolate. So the creation of the idea of eating or not eating chocolate is happening in here, inside me, inside my conditioned thinking. Like, it's worth putting that in a box and realizing that that is what you have access to in your head. You do not have the skinny models thinking. That's not who you are. That's none of it's who you are, but that's not the thinking that you have. You're something so much more wonderful than your thinking, obviously. But the thinking that you have available to you is creating those two choices. So it's odd, really, because it's just moment by moment thought. The thought, I eat the chocolate, don't eat the chocolate, shall I eat? I mean, I used to do that for a long time, talking myself in and out of eating the chocolate. I thought about it so much that invariably I did eat the chocolate, because the only thought in my head was chocolate, because it was all about whether or not I would eat the chocolate. So that's the first creation, isn't it? The first kind of creation in this process is the two options, option A or option B, eating the chocolate, not eating the chocolate. And then it looks like there's somebody else doing the choosing. But if the choosing is happening, I'm seeing something new about this, but if the choosing is happening at the same level of consciousness as the thought of the two options, then what even is that That is the same thing, doing the thing. And I was listening to Joe Bailey's new book this morning, which I know is about something about being in the eye of the hurricane, in the calm and the center of the hurricane or something. I can't remember the title exactly. But he talks there about, and it made me smile this when you think about choices, that he talks about, there's some fish swimming around in a tank, and the new fish, the young fish are swimming around, and the old fish comes up to them and says, "How's the water, boys?" And the young fish say, "What water?" Because they've no idea that they're swimming around in water. They've literally no idea at all. And that's what we're doing when we are swimming around in our own thinking. We don't know. So there's the two choices, and there's the us making it. Well, the choice process is made of the same thinking as the options. And one option looking better than the other is just coming from what makes sense in the moment. And this is the bit where as our awareness gets a little bit more, we become more aware that we're not our thinking, and where there's some separation a bit from our thinking, we can start to see that process playing out. And this is where your emotional state comes into play, and your understanding about where your feelings are coming from. That's what will kind of be the decider, not the thinking really, because the thinking's making it all, but your level of awareness of what that thinking is and where your feelings coming from. That's what will help, I suppose. So if when I'm like this is my story by the way, but if when I was feeling low, then I thought that chocolate made me feel better because I was what you might call an emotional eater for many, many years. The chocolate looked like a source of comfort. It looked like it was going to make me feel better. From that level of consciousness, eating the chocolate would have been probably my default position. Then I suppose I went through a different phase when I had a lot of thinking about food and dieting and all those kind of things. And I went backwards and forwards between these phases, by the way. Then the thinking around the chocolate would be more around, well, how many sins is it? Because I was a Slimming World gal. How many sins is it? Have I done enough exercise to burn it off? More of that kind of analytical, but still coming from the same thinking, really. But it would always come back to where I think my feelings coming from. If I think my feelings are coming from chocolate or anything else, actually, meditation, going for a walk, affirmations, whatever, if I think my feelings are coming from the outside world, then at the point of choice, in inverted commas, it will make sense to eat the chocolate if I think my feelings come from the chocolate, or the chocolate can take away a feeling that I don't want to have, can somehow take me back to a nicer feeling. And I think sometimes, because we've convinced ourselves of this, temporarily it does, doesn't it? Because the thinking says, oh, this feels nice because it reminds us of a nice time when we had chocolate, like when we were sad, when we were little and somebody gave us chocolate and said, you'll feel better, here you are, have this will feel better. So there's an association there, but it doesn't last long, does it? Because then we get the kind of sugar dip and we feel bad about ourselves because we wanted to be on a diet. And that's where, when we've made a choice that we later on don't like, that's where we can bring in compassion for ourselves, really, because when we see that this whole choice process isn't actually real, I mean, it is just our thinking choosing between our different thoughts. It's the same. It's all the same body until we start to take that almost microscopic step back and come from a space of awareness. We're just doing the same thing. And no matter whether we're on a journey like this or not, we're still going to make choices that we later on I do it all day, every day. At the end of the day, I sometimes think, oh, I probably should have done that job that I've not done yet. But, it's one of those things. But I don't feel so bad about myself because I know that whatever I've done is what has made sense in the moment, and it's all okay. There's no point, really. It doesn't make you behave any differently anyway, does it, really? So, yeah, being aware of what a choice is and how that process works, I think is just really helpful. And I think as we do become a little bit more aware, we can start to I make different choices about chocolate now. I don't really eat it very, very often because I think the main reason I was eating it was not really because I really liked it. It's because I thought it was going to make me feel better. And that desire is not there as much anymore. I'm no angel around food, by the way. I still have things I like. But yeah, the perpetual kind of habitual eating of chocolate has fallen away because the chocolate thought doesn't make so much sense anymore. And I know it's not going to make me feel better. So yeah, choices. It's an interesting one. Probably more exploration around that and definitely some space for you to bring some curiosity to it. Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.